Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's lecture. I'm Michael. I'm a 5D in EJF, and today I will discuss this topic, the mechanism of sacrifice in Joseki. I would like this talk to help you to develop some understanding and tools to think. Sacrifice is a fundamental technique in the game of Go, yet is challenging to master. For beginners whose understanding of surrounding territory is still developing, the focus is often on capturing and saving stones. As you improve that and begin to understand that a stone can be sacrificed for the greater good of the game, the concept may still feel abstract. It's common to see players sacrificing too many stones without gaining significant benefits from the exchange. Actually, I learned this idea from a book from Joseki. He said that professional players tend to know the importance of every stone. And as a result, sacrifice is difficult because although sometimes it's good for the whole game, but how to use it is important. And so, this guide is designed to help players grasp the mechanism of sacrifice. While the examples are drawn from Joseki, the underlying concepts are broader and can be applied in various aspects of the game. We often said that a Joseki is even. However, I think one more good way to understand the concept of Joseki is that Joseki is a designed pattern that the professional players think are the best move for the local variation. And as a result, some Joseki indicated many good Tetsuji and many good flow of playing the game. Firstly, sacrifice must be intentional and reasonable. We should have clear and concrete plans to gain some form of benefit from the sacrifice. That means, when you are trying to do sacrifice, you know that you will get some benefits back. Sometimes I think it's a joke that after our group is dead, we said, oh, I just sacrificed. Actually, it's a blunder, it's a joke. But yeah, if we are going to do a sacrifice, we always need to think, why I need to sacrifice? Can I not sacrifice? Because if I can get the same benefit without doing any sacrifice, then what is the meaning to sacrifice a stone? So, sacrifice must be intentional and necessary. And then sacrifice is strong and effective. Usually, when you do a sacrifice, your opponents have no option but to accept the sacrifice. This will be go through in the examples of the Joseki. And in this note, I have chose 10 Joseki. Let's take a look to Joseki 1. Joseki 1 is a very common Joseki that was played before we have AI and also approved by AI. And 3-3 invasion Joseki. Black here played a double hornet, and white played the artillery, and black connect. White played this capture, and black played the exchange. After white capture a stone, black play here and recapture 2 white stones. What is the theory of sacrifice? If we just take a look to these 3 stones, we have a clear idea that black is getting influence to control the edge, while white is getting the corner. But after black played the double harness, there is an exchange. Black get back the corner, while white get an influence to this edge. Originally, white have the corner, have the territories. But after the exchange, black have the territories. And so, this is a sacrifice in order to exchange between territory and influence. I think this is a thing that you often could consider in your game. Can you play some strong move to force an exchange to get territory? It's possible. Sometimes we can give a pawn to keep in order to get territory. And secondly, is a sacrifice to recapture. I think sacrifice to recapture is an easy concept, just like a snapback. The next 2 questions is what I really want you to consider in this lesson and try out in the coming Joseki variations. What if not accepting the sacrifice? Originally, black have the influence, white have the corner. I don't capture this stone. Now, white do not accept the sacrifice, white play the connect. If black have a good ladder, black could ladder it, but black could also retreat. We can see that this variation would be better for black, because if white tend to kill now, after black play the extension, white block. Black could kill the white with many moves. Plan would be a simple choice. And then after white play the harness, black play the extension. These are that shape, because white extend, black play here. At last, this would become a bulky 5 shape, and this is a dash shape for white. That means at this point, white could not play any tenuki. White need to play a harness, and black block, and white harness. And black could play a tiger mouth, or black could play a net. Actually, white can consider this option. However, the consequence is that black have a very great blockage to the corner. If black is not going to play the double harness to sacrifice a stone, black could only retreat. Comparing to this variation, black played a double harness, forcing white to play a connect. This exchange obviously better for black now, because white is forced to stay in the corner. This exchange is also not particularly good for white either, but the main key is that white is forced to stay in the corner and blockage by the black in both ways. Originally, in the Joseki, this side, this edge is not yet blocked. In most of the case, white have no choice but to accept the exchange. If black is not playing this draw move, black could only play the extension. This is also a Joseki, so we will not say white is better here. But black could not get territory, and black could not force an exchange. That means, if black is not going to sacrifice, black could not get what he initially could get in sacrifice. As a result, this sacrifice is necessary if black wants to get the territory. Joseki 2 is also a 3-3 invasion Joseki. Black played a double harness. After the double harness, white could capture a stone by Atari and Atari. White captured this stone. And then black could not recapture any stones. Black could only play a harness here. After the harness, white capture. The reason is that white could not play a harness. If white play a harness, black could play a Atari and capture the 3 white stones. Firstly, in this variation, if black do not play anything, white have 2 options to play. The first one is that white could play an Atari and extension. White strengthen the corner, and in the next move, white could get into the edge. Another option for white to play is that white could play a cut. After the cut, white will play here, and then these 3 black stones and these 2 black stones is divided. We have many variations to play here. One way to prevent white to play the cut here is to play the double harness. This double harness is sacrificing a stone. But after this Atari, black is connected, and black could play a harness, and Atari, and Atari. So actually, this sacrifice is helping black to get a center. Originally, black have 2 groups, and they are weak. And by this sacrifice, black connected. And on the same time, this is also a variation to exchange for the direction. Because originally, black could not access to the corner. Usually, if black do not play the sacrifice, black will play the extension here to protect the cut. But what if this edge is very limited in value and black do not want to play any stones on this edge. In most of the case, we don't want our opponents to get a pawn key because a pawn key is very valuable. But what if this edge is not valuable at all? Then in that case, we can actually sacrifice a stone to get the corner by playing the Hanek. And this also could help black to get a base too. Black exchange with the direction, black get access to the corner while sacrifice the benefits on the edge. What if white is not accepting the sacrifice? Well, I want to keep the corner. I don't want to let black to get into the corner. White could do so. After the artery, white could connect, not letting black to get the Hanek, not letting black to get the sacrifice. But in that case, again, black blocked the both sides, which is impossible if black play other moves. And on the other hand, Hanek and connect would become black center. Because if white don't respond with it, then after black play the Hanek, this is a dead group. White connect, black play a pick. The corner is dead. So, this is a one-sided center. After the Hanek and connect, white need to play an extension. And the corner only have 6 points left. A very limited size. Only 6 points. Black could not achieve if black is not going to try the sacrifice. If black is not going to try the sacrifice, black could only retreat. When retreat, black will not sacrifice any stones. But after the variation, black is a Gothic. Or black will leave a weak point, a defect here of the cut. If you are Q players, I want to remind that this is middle game strategy. Because in the opening stage, if we allow white to capture a stone on the edge, it is very influential to the edge. What we know as a middle game Joseki instead of opening stage Joseki. For Joseki 3, here white play a jump, black press, black push, white block, black play a cut, white connect, and black play this push, white play the capture, black play the block, and white play the bend. Here the theory of sacrifice is what we call it as the sacrifice in order to get additional exchange between inside and outside. What I mean inside and outside is that these are all white territories, right? And we will say that this is inside because this already was white own. We think that this white territories already. And by making this sacrifice, we play a cut and connect and then playing a move. We force the white to get back, to play inside white territory, while black play outside the territories. But this is a key idea of sacrifice. We are forcing our opponents to play inside his territories, while we can get more stones outside the influence. Okay, and then white play the bend to finish the Joseki here. And here are the two questions. What if white is not going to accept the sacrifice? What is the consequence? And what if black is not going to do the sacrifice? What is the consequence? This is the two questions I leave blank in the rush sheet and I want you to try out. What if not accepting the sacrifice here? First thing, I see many of you have shown that when black play the cuts here, if white play the Atari, could just get the corner. And this variation is better for black for a very simple reason, because this is a Joseki, and this two exchange is benefited for black, because normally when black play the press, white could play a tiger mouth. But white do not play a tiger mouth, white play the kill. And as a result, it's not as good. When black play the attach here, if whites do not accept the sacrifice, that means whites do not want to get back to capture this stone, allowing black to do the blockage. Whites try to get out, to divide the black. Black could then escape this stone. Black is usually much better. The reason is currently white need to escape. White have a group without a base, and more importantly, the corner is a dead group if black could play first. If black could play first, the corner is a dead group, black could play the pick, and after white's block, black could block. And this is a dead group. The corner is a dead one. So for now, we have shown this variation. This is a dead group. After white play here, black play this one, and this is a bulky 5 shape. As a result, after the cutting, white corner is not yet lifted, and white have a burden in the middle. And you can see the consequence of not accepting this sacrifice is very huge for white. As a result, usually, white need to accept the sacrifice, and black could block, and white needs to play a band. If whites do not play the band, then black Atari would be a center, and black could block both sides. Usually, we don't want to allow our opponents to block you in a center, because Atari is a center. So we play a band, which is very valuable. But if not sacrifice, we have two ways to look into this problem. The first one is that when black play the push and white play the block. In the original sequence, I see that black will play the cut here and white will play the connect. What if black do not play the cut? Black play this directly. Well, if white is forced to play like the Joseki and black could block and white play this one. If black do not do the sacrifice, this result is better. Do you know why it's better? Because black have a endgame Tetsuji or at least some endgame benefits. If black is not doing the sacrifice, black at least has some endgame benefits here. These are some endgame benefits that could utilized by black. But in the Joseki, black sacrifice a stone exchange with this connect. That means the corner is more solid, and black could not get the endgame Tetsuji at the corner. So, if black play the attach directly, could get the same result. This would be something black wanted to do. But why black could not play this without a sacrifice is because when black play this move directly, white could counter-attack. And when black cuts now, white this time could accept the exchange. Just now I mentioned that this is not good for white. But now black play a stone here, exchange with this one. This time white is acceptable. We think white is slightly better in this variation. This may be a bit difficult to understand, but here in the normal Joseki we get this result. After these two exchange and black play the band, we think white is slightly gained in this variation. And as a result, if black do not cut here to make an exchange, black and play this move. If black do not make this sacrifice, this exchange, black could not get what he wants. If black want to play this directly, white will not allow black to do it. White will play the counter-attack. This is one reason why black need to do the sacrifice. Another way to look into the problem is that if black is not going to do this exchange, then black could also consider something like the press. White extend, black press, and white extend. In the sacrifice variation, Black cuts and push. You can see that white is forced to play at the second line. Play on the second line. However, if black do not do the sacrifice and play the press directly, white can play on the third line. And now we can get into Joseki 4. This is a one space Binzer Joseki. And then white play the 3-3 invasion. Black block. And then here, black play a push. And then cut. And Hane. After the Hane, white capture. And black get one more Atari. And white capture. Today we have AI, we know that black could tend to kidnap. Originally, black is getting influence on this side, and at last, after the sacrifice, black is still getting influence. And it's not a sacrifice in order to exchange between directions. So the best way to talk about this sacrifice is a sacrifice in order to get additional exchange between inside and outside. Black sacrifice stones inside white territories in order to get an Atari to blockade the white. What if here whites do not accept the sacrifice and try to protest the cuts here, play the tiger move? It's also an option here, and black could play Atari. After the Atari, black capture. And then whites could play something like the pincer and form an exchange. This is a considerable choice for white, but remember in the original 3-3 Joseki, this is like a pawn to keep. This is a flower. But in this variation, whites do not have a flower. And these two exchange may be slightly better for whites, but still, this whole group is not a very stable group. Black still get the corner. And this whole group is a bit weaker. In the future, it's possible that black could get out with some kind of Tetsuji, and the whole group do not have even one eye. Another point of the sacrifice is that when black play the Hane, could white try to fight here by playing the empty triangle? We always know that playing an empty triangle should not be something very great. And after black play the retreat here, we think that these 3 white stones will be in a difficult fight because it's a very weak shape and is floating on the air without a base. So, if whites do not accept the sacrifice, whites will create a very weak group. Usually, whites will play Atari, and then black play the Atari and whites capture. Originally, black will sacrifice a stone, but if black do not sacrifice a stone and black try to blockade outside, play a Hane here, then whites could simply play a tiger mouth to defend the defense. And if black wants to blockade, for example, maybe play the Hane here, now white get a center. So the sacrifice actually helped that black to get a center. We will skip Joseki 5. Let's take a look to Joseki 6. Joseki 6 is a very long variation that has a lot of moves. Black play the attach, and then white play the attach. Black play the push, white block. Black play extension, white play a tiger mouth. Black play the attach, white play the Hane. Black play the Atari attach, push, extend, tiger mouth, and then attach, Hane, Atari, connect, extension, extension, extension. White play a cut, and then black Atari. White play capture, black play extension. White play a diagonal move, black play a knight move. Why play a knight move here? It's not easy to understand. The sacrifice happened when white play a cut here. Black decided to sacrifice these 2 black stones. If black do not sacrifice, black will play the Atari, and black need to keep escaping. It's actually very difficult for black to play now, because if black only try to jump out when there are only 3 stones, after the push and cut, when black try to capture this 1 stone, this is actually a recapture. White could recapture the black. even for 4 stones and jump out, the same problem would happen. This would become a very difficult fight for black. Because white stones is ahead of black. If black do not accept the sacrifice and do this fight, white will be ahead of black. And also, originally, black is getting the influence. But if white get out a group of stones in the middle, then white is hardly to develop the influence. Because white gets a lot of stones. When white get a lot of stones in the middle, it's difficult for black to continue to develop the center influence. And another theory that is good to mention is that because the white corner is already very solid life shape, you don't want to cut off stones that is alive. This is a live group, and cutting off the connection here is not very meaningful, and we can just let white to get the territories. When black play the Atari here, white play the Atari. If black do not sacrifice 1 more stones, this will become the result. And in this result, black have a weak influence on the edge. There is a cut. Apart from the cut, white could play a harnett, and after black block, white again could cut. So the shape on the left is weak. As a result, we actually want to sacrifice 1 more stone here. We asking white to play the block here. If black could block here, then black could play the clamp, white capture, and black could play the Atari, and white capture. Comparatively, black have 1 more stones on the edge, and this blockage to the left hand side is much more solid comparing to the last one. But here is white counter-attack. When black trying to sacrifice 1 more stone, white try to play a counter-attack of diagonal move. If black play the Atari and harnett, white is forced to capture. But after white is forced to capture, there is 2 cuts. And as a result, black need to defend the cuts, and white get a center. This is why, here at this point, black come up with a Tetsuji of a knight move. If whites do not respond, then black could play Atari, white forced to connect, and then black could play here and capture the white. But after whites play the move here, black could tend to kidnap, because there is no obvious cut. This lecture is about the mechanism of sacrifice. We want to make use of our death stones to make our opponents to put more stones inside their territories while we can get additional exchange outside. Okay, Joseki 8 is a Takamoku Joseki. Takamoku, or we call it as the 4-5 point. A 4-5 point is not common to play, but it's actually very common to see. Because when you play the approach and your opponent's tenuki, then it's become a 4-5 point Joseki. And the Joseki variation is here. Black play the attach, white play harnett, black play a retreat, and white play a harnett, and then black play a cut, white play a capture, black play Atari, white capture, and black capture this stone. Very solid Joseki that you can use in your game. If you are clear about this variation, before I'm asking you to explore the variation here, I want you to show you another Joseki helping you to answer the following questions. Another Joseki is that when black play this move, whites do not play the harnett. Whites play the extension on the second line. Afterwards, black play a clamp to the corner, whites play a tiger mouth, black play Atari, whites play connect, black play the extension, and whites play a knight move. Yeah, I think this is just a little reference for you to think about. What if black do not accept the sacrifice, and what if black do not do the sacrifice? When black cuts, if white is not going to accept the sacrifice, whites are going to connect at the corner. And then black, if ladder is good, black could simply ladder it. and then white. Although white could play something like the attach or diagonal move, black could still blockage the white inside the corner. White is blocked inside the corner and black blocked the both sides. Usually in opening variation that both sides have equal amounts of stones, blocking both sides with very complete influence without particular weakness is better for black, and also white corner is not particularly big here. If actually we have another way to look into the problem is that when black block here, it's actually like white did not play anything. For example, white play on another direction, which is actually possible, and allowing black to block. We usually don't want to allow our opponents to block this one, right? And you are forced to connect. Afterwards, you play a cut. If the ladder is good for black, the cut is meaningless. And even if the ladder is not good for black, black could simply retreat. And this exchange may not necessarily good for whites, because whites have other options. Whites have something like the clamp, like the peep, and not only the cut. If the cut is not good, then cutting is just losing a stone. And as a result, when whites do not accept the sacrifice, that do not allow black to get the corner, then black could get a very complete influence. And this would be the reason why usually it's better for white to accept the sacrifice here. And then what if not sacrifice? Then maybe black could play something like the clamp. White play the tiger mouth, black play the Atari, white play the connect. Comparing this one, we find out that white played at this 3-6 point, a harness at this point. In the another Joseki, white play the extension. We find out that it's happier for white to put a stone here comparing to the second line. Of course, placing on the third line will give you more control and more territories. As a result, white gained. And actually, white is playing a shape with 2 cuts. It's actually a very strong move. Playing at the third line, but creating 2 defects, 2 cutting points for black to cut. White here is also inviting for the sacrifice. And if black do not do the sacrifice, white will simply gain by placing the stone on the third line, but not placing it on the second line. If black do not respond to white's strong move, white will simply gain. That is the reason why black should do the sacrifice. In real game, it's very common to see some shape of 2 cutting, and black need to do a sacrifice in order to recapture another one. And this is also a sacrifice to exchange between territory and influence. Originally, white have the corner. After the sacrifice, black get back the corner. And also, this is a sacrifice in order to exchange between directions. Here, actually, black have 2 options to cut. Not only black could cut here, as I mentioned in this note, black could also cut here. Black cut here is also doing a sacrifice. In that case, black will be able to cut off this stone. This is a choice of direction. In sacrifice, we will consider which direction we want to play. In the opening stage, it's usually better for black to get the corner in this Joseki. This is also a Takamoku Joseki. Black play the knight move. White play the attach. Black play the push. White play the block. And then black play the cut. White play the Atari. White play here. Black Atari. White block. Black harness. White capture. Black Atari. White capture. And black play a tiger mouth. We need to see what if black do not sacrifice. if black do not sacrifice, that means if black do not play a cut, sacrifice this stone, black could play a tiger move here, and then white connect. Black extend, white could jump. And in this variation, we can actually see the effect of the sacrifice clearly. After the sacrifice, black blockage the left hand side. But in this variation, white advance on the left hand side. So by sacrificing, we get a Hane at center and we blockage the left hand side. What if not sacrifice one more stone? When black play the cut and white play the Atari, if black do not play one more extension now, black directly play the Atari. Then again, white could capture. Without the extension, black could not get Hane at center. It's become a gote and white could even cut. So, this sacrifice is very important. We need to sacrifice one more stone to give our stone more liberty, forcing white to put more stones inside. This is a very classical exchange between inside and outside. If we do not sacrifice, we cannot do this additional exchange. We cannot blockage the left hand side. And last one. Last one is a variation from the Komoku adding a knight move enclosure. We have two ways to play. The first one is the attach with the modern move. And the second one is the second line attachment, which is the classical idea. After black play the Hane, white play the cut. We can do the same for white playing the attach first. After black play this Hane, white play a cut. After white play the cut, black could play the Atari. And then white play Atari, black connect, white play another Atari, black capture, and then white play a move here. Actually, this move is unnecessary, but I just continue to demonstrate the sacrifice. And then black play the Atari, white play the Atari, black capture, and white play here. What is white doing? White sacrifice two stones and black keep capturing stones. Here, it is a Joseki variation that we will use when white is trying to limit black development. We are trying to place stones to prevent black to get a big more formation. Because when white do this sacrifice, white is making a lot of stones outside with a flexibility that black is very difficult to capture as a whole. And this is the effect of the sacrifice. And it is a very classical exchange between inside and outside because black is forced to capture stone very limited territory. And while white is placing stones outside, that could help preventing black to develop. Here, one option for white to play is to play something like tiger move. But a tiger move here, we think is a bit heavy. For the worst case, just for demonstration, if black play a peep here and peep here, white become a group of stones without any eyes and would only be target for black to attack. As a result, we want to sacrifice it. These stones do not carry energy and meaning because black is already very solid. As black is already very solid, these stones are just a few points. What white is trying to do here is to prevent black to develop the whole area. So white could escape faster and letting black to capture it. By sacrificing, we are actually reducing our burden. Because our stones are already captured, we don't have the burden to afraid our opponents to capture our stones as a whole in a very big way. He is just capturing our stones in the very limited, controlled way. And this is also a very common idea of sacrifice, is to prevent our opponent to capture our stones in a too big way. We have some weak stones, what about we just let our opponents to capture it in the smallest way instead of a bigger way? And this is what this Joseki variation is trying to demonstrate with us. And this is also a very classical additional exchange between inside and outside, because black is just capturing stones in its original territory or influence. Here is just an additional note. The modern way for black to counter-attack is not playing this move, because we think that playing this move is allowing white to do a sacrifice. We think that this is a move too inefficient, allowing white to sacrifice it to get this additional center. So the modern way to deal with this cut is to play a second line extension. Black want to capture this stone in the biggest way possible. And what black is allowing is white to play the Atari and push. And black do not capture any stone, play an extension. This is the modern way to deal with it. At first glance, this is a bit unbelievable. I think it's easy to think it's unbelievable because many professional players did not realize it before AI, is that white is worse. Initially, we think that white could push here and blockage and divide the black stones is better for white. However, today we have AI. In most of the cases, we clearly know that white have a weak group, have a burden, and black could attack the white as a whole. I think this countermeasure explained that why sometimes sacrifice is so powerful. Because sometimes if we are unable to sacrifice, we have some burden as a whole. These three stones do not have eyes, do not have territories. But if black could capture it, that would be a lot of territories. So comparing this variation to the simple sacrifice, white allowing black to capture a stone is more ideal for white. Sacrifice will give you some good results. If we are not going to sacrifice, what are our options? And if we are going to do sacrifice, what is our aim? And if you have considered these two options, then yeah, please feel free to try out some sacrifice and they will help you to improve your game. And that's all for today's lecture. Thank you.
Thank you.